Hi guys, Casper MMA here, and today I'm back with another UFC predictions video on the channel. Today I'm going to be my predictions for UFC 311, Makhachev versus Tsarukyan 2. Now it's been a little while since I last did one of these UFC prediction videos. The last card was way before Christmas, well the last good card anyways, the last 310. That was a while ago, so I'm back with this card. It looks pretty sick and I can't wait. But before I do give my predictions, make sure if you're not already and you're enjoying this content, you're going to below and hit that subscribe button. It's free and it's much appreciated. So we have 14 fights on this week's card, and we kick things off with the first prelim of Ulanbekov versus Clayton Carpenter. Now, this looks a pretty decent fight at flyweight. I mean, Ulanbekov, very good fighter, currently on a 2-fight win streak, did lose to Tim Elliott by split decision, but before that has a pretty good record, got some decent wins as well in there. But Clayton Carpenter, undefeated fighter. I think he's just come off the contender series recently as well. In 2022, then he's won 2 in the UFC. So both these guys are pretty talented guys, but I do think that Ulanbekov is going to get the win here. I mean, I feel like it could go either way. I feel like Carpenter could get a win here. I mean, he's got a few finishes already, but I feel like Ulanbekov, the Russian, is going to get this done. I mean, he's had more experience in the UFC. I feel like he's going to get the decision here. And yeah, Ulanbekov is going to win. Now, moving up the card to Ricky Turcios versus Bernardo Sopaj. Now, I actually already did pick this fight one time along. I don't know when the last. It was meant to be scheduled for a different card. I don't know which card it was, it doesn't say on here, but yeah, it got rearranged for this card, and I did pick Sopaj to win because I don't think Ricky Turcios is that good. I mean, I'm pretty sure his last loss was to Raul Rosas Jr., I think, yeah, and he looked all right for the first round, but then the second round he got dominated, and then Sopaj, he did get KO'd, we all know that, but I do think he's still a good fighter. He's took quite a bit of time off after that KO as well, so I feel like he's going to come back in here and he's going to get the win, and I reckon he's going to get the KO in round number 2. Now, moving up the card again to Reinier Nakamura versus Muin Gafurov. Now, Gafurov from Tajikistan. I mean, you don't get many fighters from there, really. 28 years old. He's coming off a win against Hyang Ho Kang. But before that, he had 2 losses in a row. Lost to Nurmagomedov. He's got a few decent wins, but he's also got quite a few losses as well so he's not the best fighter, really. And then Reinier Nakamura, undefeated Japanese man. It's pretty good. I mean, he won his first fight in the UFC by KO, then since then got 2 decision wins, so I feel like it's going to be a pretty easy win, this one, for Nakamura, and I reckon he's going to get the decision. Now, moving up the card to Carol Rosa versus Eileen Perez. Now, I don't really get the odds for this fight. Carol Rosa is the favourite here, 18-6. Obviously, has more experience in the UFC. I mean, she's fought 10 times in the UFC, but she's kind of got a record that goes like win loss win loss win loss. So she's due a loss coming up if we go by that record. But she's got a few decent wins in her career, and but she's coming off a win against Kianzad as well. Literally all of her fights go into decision as well. On the other hand, Eileen Perez, we all know her. We've all seen her post-fight interviews and that. 11-2. Currently on a 4-fight winning streak as well. She looks pretty good, and I'm going to be picking her here. I mean, I can't see why she's that much of an underdog against Carol Rosa here. It could go either way, I suppose. It is a women's fight, but I like the underdog money here. Perez has looked pretty good, and I reckon she's going to get the win here as well, and I think she's going to get the job done by decision. Now, moving up the card to Zach Reese versus Azamat Bekoev. Now, this fight was originally meant to be Zach Reese versus Dumas, I think, Cedric Dumas, and I was easily picking Zach Reese there. I mean, he would KO Dumas really easily, but now it's been changed because Dumas has pulled out, and now they've got a LFA champ, I think, Bekoev, or however, I don't know how you say that name, and he looks pretty good. I mean, a much harder opponent, I feel like, than Dumas would be. I feel like Zachary Reese is still good, 8-1. His only loss coming to Cody Brundage was kind of a fluke loss, really. I don't really like that was a slam and that. But since then, he's looked pretty good. And to be honest, it could go either way. It's not one of my more confident picks because it's been rearranged and there's a different fighter fighting. But I'm going to go with Zachary Reese still. I mean, I picked him the first time. I feel like he's going to get the job done again. So I feel like Zachary Reese is going to get the job done by decision. Now, moving up the card to Grant Dawson versus Diego Ferreira. Now, Grant Dawson, he's pretty good. He won his last fight by ground and pound to Rafa Garcia. Beat Selecki as well before that. I mean, his only loss since 2016 is his loss to Bobby Green, which was kind of a fluke as well. But he's pretty good, Grant Dawson. His opponent, Diego Ferreira, 19-5. 39 years old as well, so he's getting on a bit. He's on 2 wins, to be fair. That win against Rebecca is quite good. 2 KOs in a row. He KO'd Michael Johnson as well, so it's not a bad record recently. Had 3 losses in a row, to be fair, before that. But I do think Grant Dawson's going to get this job done. I feel like it should be an easy win, really, but you never know. Ferreira could pull it off, but I'm going to go with Dawson to get this job done, and I reckon he's going to get the decision. Now, moving up the card too. Bogdan Guskov versus Billy Elakana. Now, pretty sure this was meant to be Johnny Walker versus Guskov, but that Johnny Walker had to pull out as well of this, so would like to see that. I mean, probably would have got another goofy KO from Johnny Walker, but this Guskov looks pretty good from Uzbekistan, I think it is. 16-3 since he's come to the UFC. Apart from his one loss to Ozdemir, since then he's looked really good. I mean, 2 KOs, Ryan Spann and Zach Palger. He's a dangerous man. I mean, Anthony Smith look-alike, but a lot better than Anthony Smith. His opponent, Billy Elakana, I'm not too familiar with him. 7-1. I mean, he's fought in the PFL before and LFA. He's been on a few regional promotions, and he doesn't look too bad. Only 1 loss come by split decision, but I feel like I have to pick Guskov here to get this job done. I mean, I would have probably picked him against Johnny Walker, so I reckon he can get the job done against Elakana. So I'm going to get Guskov to get the KO in round number 1. Now, moving up the card. 2. Jelton Almeida versus Sergey Spivak. Once again, Almeida's been buried in the prelims somewhere. He's not sniffing the main card for a long time. I mean, to be fair though, I think Almeida is still pretty good. I mean, I feel like, apart from that 1 loss to Curtis Blades and that awful performance against Derek Lewis, he's only been to decision like once in his career. Well, once in his UFC career at least. He's only had, I think he's had two fights go to decision. But I did on Almeida's pretty good. I mean, Spivak isn't bad either, to be fair. I mean, he's coming off a win against Ty Burra. I think I might pick Ty Burra in that one. I'm not quite sure. But before that, he lost to Cyril Gahn. So both these guys have got wins against Derek Lewis as well. But I do think that Almeida's grappling that will be too much for Spivak. I mean, we've seen what Almeida can do against some of the guys at heavyweight. He just chucks them about and then just sits on top of them. I mean, he's probably going to get... I feel like he could get this submission here as well. I'm not too sure, but I'm going to go with Jelton Almeida here. I mean, I'd love to see him versus Tom Aspinall. I feel like that's one of the most interesting fights in the division, to be fair. I mean, obviously Tom Jones, but is that going to happen? Who knows? If Almeida wins, I wouldn't mind him versus Tom after like Tom Gahn or Volkov. I don't know what's happening there, that weird split decision thing. But yeah, I'm going to go with Almeida to get this job done. And I reckon he gets the decision. Now, moving up the card too. Peyton Talbot versus Raoni Barcelos. Now, Peyton Talbot, what a man. He's so good. I mean, I've seen all of his fights in the UFC. And he's looked so good. All finishes as well. He won by decision on the Contender Series. I mean, he won in 19 seconds in his last fight, which was crazy. I mean, he was a massive massive favourite as well. And that is like one of the biggest favourites I've seen. But Barcelos, he's not like he's bad. I mean, he's coming off a win against Quinn Yones in his last fight. But he has lost quite a few recently. He's only won 2 of his last 6 fights, I think that is. So this is going to be another easy Peyton Talbot win, I feel like. Well, it should be anyways. So I'm going to go with Talbot to get the KO in round number 1. Now, moving up the card. 2. We're on to the main card now. Kevin Holland versus Reinier de Ridder. Now, this is a very fun matchup, you know. Reinier de Ridder, saw him against GM3. Looked interesting. I mean, he managed to get the round 3 choke right at the end, which was kind of funny. But he looked alright, to be fair. Another goofy fighter. I mean, him versus DDP would be insane, so I hope that happens at some point. Kevin Holland, I mean, I don't even know where to start with him. Like, he's good, but then he sometimes just isn't good. Like, he just depends. He can put on a really good performance, then the next fight looks shocking. Like he's coming off a loss against Elite. I don't even know what happened there. He like got an injury or something. I don't know. But Yeah, then he beat Olizashuk, which was good, and then he lost to Michael Page. But I don't. It's a hard one to pick this. I don't know what version of Kevin Holland we're going to see turn up. I don't know what Reinier is going to do in this fight. I don't think we can judge him on his first fight in the UFC. So I think I'm going to go with the underdog. I think I'm going to pick Derrida. Well, I don't know if he's the underdog. It's similar odds, but I'm going to Derrida to get this job done. It could go either way, let's be real. But I feel like Derrida is going to get the decision. Now, moving up the card to Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. Really fun fight, this one. Dariush is coming off 2 KO losses, obviously to Tsarukyan, who's on this card, and then Charles Oliveira. But he had a really good run before that. I mean, some of the names he beat are pretty good. But Moicano, he's on a really good run at the minute. So both these guys have got a good shot of winning this, to be fair. But I do think with the form Moicano's coming in, he can't afford to lose, as he says. That win against Benoit Saint-Denis was just really good. And then the Jalen Turner and Drew Dober. He's looked so good in his last couple of fights. So I can't really not pick Moicano here. I've picked against him so many times. I think Moicano is going to get this job done. I'm not sure if he's going to KO Dariush, but I reckon Moicano is going to get the decision. Now, moving up the card to Jiri Prochazka versus Jamahal Hill. Jamahal Hill, I don't know how you say his first name, to be honest. He's got a H in there. Jamahal Hill, I'll go with that. But a really big fight at light heavyweight. I mean, either one, I don't know what's going to happen if either of them wins, because they're both going to get KO'd again by Alex Pereira. But I guess we get to see, imagine Jiri versus what is Pereira 3. That would be interesting. Just get to watch him get KO'd again. But obviously, with both of their last fights were against Alex Pereira, and I mean, what's his face? Jamal Hill was meant to fight Carlos Ulberg, I think, and that got cancelled. He was meant to fight Khalil Roundtree as well, so he had a few cancelled fights there. But I do feel like Hill is going to win this one. I mean, I think a lot of people are picking Jiri. It's very close odds. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're like nearly the same odds here. But I feel like Jamahal Hill could get a KO here. I mean, obviously he's got quite a few KOs in his career, and like the Johnny Walker one and that. I just feel like Jiri Prochazka is good, but like I feel like Jamahal Hill, more technical. He's going to manage to find the chin of Jiri, because Jiri can get KO'd so easily. He blocks shots with his head. Like, I just don't think he's going to work against Jamahal Hill. I feel like Jamahal Hill is too good for Jiri, and Jamahal Hill's going to get the knockout here, and I reckon he's going to get the KO in round number 3. Now, moving up the card to the co-main event. 2 title fights on this card, which is pretty good. We have Merab Dvalishvili, I don't know how you say that, man, versus Umar Nurmagomedov. Now, Merab is pretty good, you know. He's shown that. I mean, he's only lost in the UFC his last loss in the UFC was so long ago, and since then he's just basically blitzed through everyone, and then blitzed through Sean O'Malley to take. That was one of like the easiest title wins I've ever seen, because like Sean O'Malley just did nothing in that fight. Where even is Sean O'Malley gone? Is he fighting again? Not heard of him really since that fight. Umar obviously beat Corey Sandhagen, won him this title shot. It was a pretty good win that. I expected Sandhagen to turn up and look better, and he didn't. But I feel like this fight, both of these guys are great grapplers, really. So it could be a boring fight. This, I'm not sure. It could be really boring or really good. We'll just have to see what happens. I mean, Merab's going to shoot like 50 takedowns probably. We'll see how many he lands. But I actually think Umar is going to win this fight. I mean, I feel like Umar has good wrestling, and then he's also got better striking than Merab does. So I feel like he's going to be better on the feet. He's going to deal with the ground game from Merab. And I reckon Umar is going to get the decision. Now, moving up to the main event, Islam Makhachev versus Arman Tsarukyan. So, the first fight, obviously, Makhachev won by decision. It was pretty good from Tsarukyan, went to decision with him. I don't think the fight was quite a long time ago. It was back in 2019, and it didn't look too bad, really. Tsarukyan, I mean, he's recently, apart from his loss to Gamrot, he's been on a pretty good run. Obviously got the split decision against Charles Oliveira. If that fight was very close, but Oliveira's obviously good. But I do think Islam's a different level. Like, I can't see anyone really beating him at lightweight at the minute. So I don't think I think Arman's got the best chance of any lightweight at the minute, but I don't think he's going to be able to do well enough against Islam. I mean, Islam's just overall just such a good fighter. So I feel like He's not going to finish him, but I reckon Islam is going to get the decision win. So there we have it, guys. There are my picks for UFC 311. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of the picks. And that is all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, maybe leave a like, hit that subscribe button, and see you guys next time. Goodbye.